Welcome to Bahasa Bali, lesson 43. Today's lesson we'll talk about some very basic things that people do around their farms. Most of the people in Bali were farmers when I lived there, and I lived amongst farmers all the time. So their daily activities were very common, and it was every day. It was a routine for a lot of them. So if they're going to raise an animal, in Bahasa Bali, ubu. The verb ngubu. In Indonesian, pelihara. Pelihara. If they were going to raise an animal, if it was, for instance, cows, and they were going to mengembala, that is, take them out to the field so they could graze, Bahasa Bali, angon. Angon. But generally they're cows, to avoid having them go and grazing on other people's land. They quite often tether them in little shelters, and they will go out and ngarit padang. Arit is sabit. Ngarit is the verb to menyabit, and padang is grass. So ngarit padang, you'll see men out there all the time ngarit padang with their knives shoved down the back of their pants. Then after they've collected two large baskets, the men will nagan, which is memikul in Indonesian, from the word tagan, so nagan. A woman wouldn't nagan, she would carry things on her head, which is nyuwun, which is from the word suwun. So women, nyuwun, men, nagan. There's a very interesting thing. When a woman is wanting a hand to put the large basket on her head, then we will say, what? What? So if I saw a woman was going to put a large basket on her head, I would say, tiang watin, meaning I'll give you a hand putting it up onto your head. Tiang watin. Very similar to a word to help, which is wop. Wopin. So that's you'll see that if you see a person, a woman with a large basket, and you want to give her a hand, you try it. You say tiang watin. Very appreciated, trust me. The other animals that they have, siap for chickens. Well, the young of chicken is pitik, so you can ngubuh pitik. Bebek is a duck. The young of bebek is memberi, so ngubuh memberi, very common thing to do in Bali. Ngubuh celeng, ngubuh kucit. Kucit is the young of a pig, very common. Ngubuh kucit. Bangkung is the sow. Bangkung is a sow in Balinese, and they keep them around for breeding, obviously. The celeng is actually a castrated male that they use for food. Dikebiri in Indonesian. Babi yang dikebiri. Kaung is the stud. The male that they keep on, that they don't castrate, that they keep for breeding purposes, is a kaung. And they also call horses and cows that are used for the same thing. So a stud is kaung. Things that they do when they're going to the rice fields, the men will carry, and the women, will carry a hoe. Now the Balinese hoe is a long-handled implement with long teeth, 4 or 5 teeth on the end. Very good for ploughing. You stand upright. The Javanese use pacul, and it's very short. So the Javanese traditionally are bent over doubled whenever they're hoeing things. But the Balinese stand upright with long-handled hoes. And that's called a tamba. And they're going to numbug, from the word tumbug, which means to hoe. Numbug kecarik. They're going to plough, or they're going to hoe the rice fields. Numbug Kacharik or Numbangkumo is another word for rice fields. If you're going to plant things, mula from the word pula. So mula padi is to plant rice. You can mula jagung, for instance. The word in Bahasa Halus is nandur from the word tandur. If you're going to harvest, mani from the word ani. And you might belong to a group, a kelompok in Balinese is a suker, and you have suker drup, which is a group of people who go around specifically to harvest, to cut down the rice, menuai padi or mengetam padi, and that is medrup. They're like a group. Medrup is when you do it as a buru. The other thing that's very common in Bali is they look for dried wood, for wood to cook with. Not so much nowadays because they use quite often kerosene to cook with now, or gas, even more common, LPG now. But in my time, they were forever nali sang. Nali is look for and sang is firewood. Nali sang. And that was very, very common pastime of an afternoon after they'd finished their work on their way home. They would try and pick up any bits of wood on their way home so they could cook that evening's meal. So hopefully all those things will help you when you're in a village, in a rural village. Good luck with it all. And remember, what's up?